Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 5th. Today we will see less thunderstorm activity across the western half of the Great Basin, although there will still be a few isolated storms in the higher Sierra. We will still see isolated thunderstorms over central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming, which still may have some rainfall, and also a mix of wet and dry storms across the higher terrain of Utah. On Tuesday, we will see lightning activity mostly shift off to the east, with drier air pushing in, and by Wednesday, we'll likely see an increase in winds, especially across Idaho. We will also see gusty winds, probably both Tuesday and Wednesday along the Sierra front, maybe more of an enhanced zephyr. However, the more widespread winds with drier conditions will be up across Idaho. This will certainly bring the potential for holdovers with the recent lightning we've been seeing. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen thunderstorms again over the northern half of the Great Basin, mostly concentrated across parts of central Idaho, also into southwest Idaho. These thunderstorms have been a mix of wet and dry, but we have seen some decent rainfall amounts over parts of Idaho. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen a reported 16 new fires across the Great Basin. We've seen certainly a cluster down over southern areas and over western areas, both a mix of lightning starts and human starts. Over the last 7 days, we've seen precipitation across the Great Basin, mostly tied to thunderstorm activity, and it has been fairly spotty. Lightning activity did bring deeper moisture over the southern half of the Great Basin over the last 2 weeks, so some of those areas are seeing above normal precipitation recently, but have seen drier conditions in the last several days. Currently, our fuel conditions are shown here. You can see still critical conditions with ERCs across Idaho and Utah, and even southern areas that did see more recent moisture have been drying out, and ERCs have returned to above the 80th percentile. We have seen ERCs drop over western areas, but over the next couple of days, with drier and breezy air moving in, we will see ERCs returning to the higher levels. Looking at our ERC charts over northern areas in Idaho, some areas are still at record levels for the time of year, as many areas have not seen recent precipitation. Further south, where ERCs took more of a dip due to recent moisture in southern Utah, have started returning to above normal. We are seeing similar conditions over western areas of the Great Basin where ERCs have dropped, but again will be on the upward trend. Our satellite image from this morning shows generally still high pressure dominating the Great Basin with that moisture in place. We'll see that thunderstorm activity still linger over the eastern half of the Great Basin. However, with a trough moving in, again, we will see winds increase towards midweek. On Monday, later this afternoon, we again will see that moisture still in place over the eastern half of the region for a reduced fire potential in some areas that have seen moisture. However, in other areas that are still continuing to get lightning that have not received as much moisture, we'll likely continue to see elevated initial attack. You can see that drier air has already moved into much of the western Great Basin, but still again, some moisture lingering over the Sierra. We could see some isolated storms later today. And you will see that on the picture on the left here, again showing that isolated activity in the Sierra, but a better chance of lightning still across the eastern half of Idaho into Wyoming, and parts of northern and eastern Utah also in the higher terrain. Winds today will remain light to moderate. We will see that more of a west or northwest component to the winds and a little breezy over parts of central and eastern Utah. As we move into Tuesday, we will see that drier air spread across the Great Basin, so we will see the drying trend in our significant fire potential over the western half of the region. The eastern half of the Great Basin will take another day or so, but otherwise still light to moderate winds and could see that more enhanced zephyr along the Sierra front. Relative humidity will be dropping back down into the teens, almost region-wide. And again, you can see those winds along the Sierra front gusting mainly in the 20s to around 30 miles per hour on Tuesday afternoon, and also some breezy north to northeast winds over parts of the eastern half of Utah. On Wednesday, the ridge continues to move eastward. We see a little bit more of that southwest flow as this trough moves into the Pacific Northwest. So we will see those winds increase across Idaho. Most of the lightning will be located north of our region, but again, we'll see those gusty winds and dry conditions in the north and over parts of western Nevada. Relative humidity drops back down into the single digits over the western half of the region and teens in other areas. As you can see, the winds increase across Idaho and Wyoming, mostly across Idaho with those wind gusts in the low 30s. Again, with the gusty winds combined with the drying conditions along with recent lightning, that will increase the potential for holdovers. We will also see those gusty winds along the Sierra front with single-digit relative humidity. and also starting to increase over parts of central and eastern Nevada. So again, holdovers will be the main concern as we move towards midweek. Forecast amounts of precipitation are light with just spotty precipitation with those remaining thunderstorms today. As we move into Thursday, the trough of low pressure continues to move eastward over northern Idaho. This will further increase winds across the Great Basin, so a larger area of high risk for those winds across Idaho, northern and western Utah, and back into Nevada. Again, holdovers being the main threat with the recent lightning. As we move into Friday, this trough swings more to the east. We will still see gusty northwest winds across parts of northeast Utah, so we do have some high risk still on Friday for those gusty winds and dry conditions. As we move into Saturday, the ridge returns with warmer and drier conditions, and we do see a return to that moderate fire potential region-wide. Similar conditions as we move into Sunday. We'll have to watch to see if any lightning activity pops up later this week or this weekend, but right now anything looks to be fairly isolated with more of a drying trend. No real change in our 7-day precip, as any of the precip will be spotty again through the next day or so with thunderstorms. And then the 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from July 12th through the 18th, shows warm and dry conditions for much of the Great Basin. Still are seeing that monsoon moisture down in the south, possibly affecting our far southern areas, but mostly suppressed into the southwest and southern Rockies. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.